But why we're here today is to learn from some phenomenal women who are going to talk about their career journeys, the role of digital and their digital presence and social aspects day in and day out. So please have a warm welcome. Lisa, Jill, Crystal, join me on the stage. Now, as these lovely ladies join, I want each of them to tell a little bit about their career journey, and throughout that, the role that digital and social presence has played. And then if each of you could wrap your own personal highlight, similar question that Kayla asked this morning, but I think a lot of voices matter and diversity of thought and experiences in careers. So if you could also share at the wrap, what is the social platform of choice and preference for each of you?
Hello there, I am Lisa Braun. I'm the Senior Director of Social Media and Content Strategy for the Cincinnati Reds. I have been with the Reds for 15 years. I started off as the marketing manager, and after a couple years at the organization, social media, digital, online became, a huge priority for our marketing department, so I took over that area. I've continued to oversee our content for our marketing as well, so it's been quite a journey, and I've learned a lot over the time with social media. When I first started, I was a one-person department in social media, and now we have 5 full-time people and an additional 4 people that help us during the season, so it really has grown so much, not just as a marketing tool, but also in terms of customer listening, customer service. There's so many things that we do with our social media. So this is kind of a second career for me, working in baseball. Prior to working at the Reds, I worked in radio, and I also worked for MTV for 10 years. So was head of consumer marketing, and so it's definitely a change, but I guess my skill or my superpower, I would say, is tapping into the passion of people and their excitement for different brands that I work for. So I consider, baseball and MTV a lot alike as well.
That was amazing. Favorite social
Oh, my favorite social platform. Instagram, I think, would be my favorite because it's so visual and you can evoke so much emotion from a photo and from videos. And also, I have to say, working in sports, people are very passionate about their sports teams. So there's highs and lows of emotions. And so people tend to be a little nicer on Instagram as well. So I tend to like to spend more time there.
I did tell Lisa, I had to admit, in case she finds me in the social world, because digital dust is prevalent everywhere once you start, that we do wear a Cubs logo when we go to the games. But it's okay, because friendly rivalry is important.
Yes.
Crystal.
Hello, I am Crystal Kendrick. I am the president of The Voice of Your Customer, which is a marketing consulting firm. And in 2016, I launched The Voice of Black Cincinnati, which is a media company designed to educate, recognize, and create opportunities for African Americans in the region. So The Voice of Black Cincinnati really started as my personal Facebook page, my personal email address, and my personal text group before I had text group messaging, just to let my friends know what was going on and to answer their questions. My office turned into like 411 for Black Cincinnati. People call us every day for what's going on and where they can find what they need. So we just tried to put it out there. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine that we would get to 1 million page views per year, 11,000 newsletter followers, 5,000 text subscribers, and almost 50,000 social media followers. Thank you. We don't advertise. I don't advertise The Voice of Black Cincinnati. I've never paid a quarter to share, to promote it. I've, put it in different venues for people to see, but it has just grown organically itself. And one of the things I will say about your brand and social media, and for me, is you have to put out quality stuff, if you will. If you put out good quality things and you hear the voices of the people and what they're asking for, you will have just tremendous success in what you're doing. And hopefully I can share some tips, some insights around what might help you to do that as well. My favorite platform, that is the trickiest question, because my favorite platform as an individual are Facebook groups. Not Facebook, but Facebook groups. Facebook is trying to become like my personal assistant, my planner, right? Between all the calendars and the events, the this, the that, the birthdays, like it's all of that. But I really like the groups because in the groups I can communicate and engage with people that I know are like-minded, and we can engage, and I can learn about specific things that I want to learn about. So I particularly like Facebook groups. For the Voice of Black Cincinnati, that's totally different. It would be Facebook itself, and probably moving more toward Instagram. So thank you.
Thanks, Crystal.
Fantastic. So I'm Jill Dunn. Most recently, I was with Kroger, working in their corporate affairs on the technology and digital side. Before that, I spent 8 years at the Cincinnati Art Museum, where I was chief communications officer, leading a team to develop everything from the member magazine to the events called Art After Dark, and leading the social media accounts for them as well. Prior to that, I spent 5 years at Cincinnati Metro, so the transit agency, and I was involved with getting the streetcar up and running and working on the communications for Metro. And then prior to that, I had worked for 5 years at the Newport Aquarium, where we had scuba diving Santa Clauses, touching shark experiences, and I was able to go on the Today Show and Good Morning America to tell the world about the amazing things that they were providing. So I've definitely been involved in social media in my professional career. And personally, I do enjoy Instagram. I think it's similar to what Lisa said. I really love photography, and I found there's so many great resources that I like to explore my personal time, and also share my own photography, everything from things that I eat to things that I see. Of course, the sunset is my favorite thing to share on Instagram, but I'm really excited to talk about LinkedIn because professionally it is a great resource to network, to research companies, to learn about opportunities to use for recruiting. So I'm excited to dig into that today.
Absolutely.
What a powerhouse panel we have up here. Thank you, ladies, for joining. I think of digital presence and the social side of things as a possibly imperfect marriage between technology and psychology, and how those two come together to meaningfully influence the content that we see as everyday people, and the content that we emote as individuals on behalf of our brands, on behalf of ourselves. The incredible game changers here are going to be leaving today with some incredible new content, a professional headshot, the video for those that wish to take part, which I hope everyone does, and some updated profiles. I'd love for each of you to share how that type of updated content is so critical for SEO, and some of the best practices that you've leveraged on your behalf or on behalf of the brands that you've represented over the years. It's open, fair game for whoever wants to start.
I'd love to talk about how I think of LinkedIn as an online business card. And I don't know about you, but since the pandemic began, I used to pass out business cards when you're shaking hands, you're out and about. I have not had a business card over the last few years, and I really use LinkedIn as a way to make those connections. When you meet someone, earlier today, when we were having lunch, I was sitting at a table with someone, and when you ask their name, it is so easy and quick to make that connection, and that helps you grow your network. It helps refresh your memory when you see them again, and then if you are exploring an opportunity or you're looking into an organization, you can always reach out to those people in your network. So I feel like that is such a great place to start, and you need that basis and the content on you so that people can make connections and they understand where you work and what you do and who you are. So I kind of consider it just an online business card.
I have to agree with Jill. I think I have almost 15,000 LinkedIn connections, and it really wasn't anything that I've sought out to do. It has just happened over the years. But what I like about LinkedIn is it is very professional. You can get to the chase. And when you see people on other social medias, you have to remember their pseudonames and all that kind of stuff, and it can be a bit of a challenge. But as a business owner, I use LinkedIn quite a bit to search for vendors, to search for clients, to search for services that I need, either personally or professionally. So that is a real repository of skills you need. The other thing I like about LinkedIn is people, I don't know about you, but they call my office every day asking for a board member, someone to apply for a job, a small business, a speaker, a panelist, all of these things. And I don't know if you know this or not, but LinkedIn is the go-to place to share information. People are sharing your LinkedIn profile without you even knowing about it. They are looking at your LinkedIn profile without you knowing about it. I can't count the number of telephone calls and or emails that have come through that as soon as someone mentions your name, they're going right to LinkedIn to look you up. And so it behooves you, for whatever your goals are, to have a current profile that includes enough detailed information that someone can make a really good decision for you. I have seen business owners receive contracts because of that. I've seen people receive jobs, grants, opportunities, all kinds of things, because their profile was current enough for someone to make a quick decision. So that's one of the reasons I really believe you should have that. Another thing is that as you are going out and about and looking different places, it is very easy to share that. People always say, well, what's your profile? Can you send me your profile? Well, if you keep your LinkedIn document current, you can easily download it and or share it. And so you don't have to keep up with the latest trends in resume writing. You can include it there. And you can include attachments, presentations, certificates, all kinds of things that you might have in your career. So I would really encourage you to look at it and ensure that even if you're not posting, that you are current, your document is current, it is well written. Anybody heard of Grammarly? If you have not and you don't have it, that is your tip of the day, is to get Grammarly, right? Spell check is so important, and writing a decent profile, not just what the content is, but how it is written. It says so much about you and your presentation. So I'll stop there, but it is important. I hope you get that message.
I think with LinkedIn too, in addition to building relationships, getting your name out there, you're always, posting as much as you possibly can. Social media platforms love activity. So if you're commenting, you're sharing content, you're updating your profile, making sure that you're active on platforms, you really can establish yourself on LinkedIn as an authority in whatever your area of business is. So it helps you connect with people with like interests, but it also, as you share information or comment on other people's posts, you can really establish yourself as an expert in a certain area that you're interested in.
That's very good.
I'm going to go back to you, Lisa, and specifically talk content. Now, of course, the Cincinnati Reds, you've got a lot of content
Yes.
to play with. Can you share with the group here, and we've got some incredible entrepreneurs that are building businesses, and content is king for digital presence as well. Can you share some of the experiences at the Cincinnati Reds and how you think about content and the criticality of fresh content to influence SEO?
Yeah, well, like you said, we're lucky. We have 162 game seasons, so that's plenty of content to work with. So we have an advantage there, plus 30 spring training games that are going on right now. So I think for the most part, you have to just remember who your followers are and who you want your followers to be, and make sure that you're always talking to those people and using content that interests them. So social media being permission-based marketing, they chose to follow you on social media, so you want to make sure that you are respecting why they chose to follow you about your specific topic or your business. So we want to make sure that, we're not talking about a lot of things that aren't about the Reds. They chose to follow us because they like the Reds. So always looking for content that's unique, that's different. Quality definitely helps as well. pictures and video. Video, as you mentioned earlier, is, very strong right now on social media. The analytics and the algorithms definitely reward video a lot on different platforms. So video is also as important, but just, being active, keeping your content fresh, and talking to, the people that chose to follow you.
Crystal, Jill builds on content.
So as Lisa mentioned, content is really important, and you just have to understand what your followers are looking for. You have a lot of content because it's sports and people choose, and I have content because I can talk about what's happening in the community, and Jill has hers too. But I think it's important to stay in that lane. I think that was the most important thing I heard from Lisa was if people are coming to you to see or hear one thing, they probably don't want to see or hear other things that are not related. So people who are all over the map, you're probably going to find your followers all over the map and then eventually not on the map. So, think about your content. A lot of us have content strategies. We have charts and lists and tables about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it and when we're going to do it. And most importantly, for me, what I've learned in social media is to be succinct in my message. And people say, why does it take you 20 or 30 minutes to post? Because you want to make sure your images are cropped correctly, and so that they appear the way you want them to appear. If you just upload 4 images and they're all different sizes, well, then they're going to look all different sizes, right? I want 4 perfect squares, so you see them all. I want the words to appear before the line. I don't want you to have to click more, right? So I have to figure out how to say what I want to say before the line. And so all of those things really matter. I want bright, clear pictures, not a copy of something, not a flyer, not a this, not a that. And so those things are important to my brand, but I think that's one of the reasons that people like us. If you follow the Voice of Black Cincinnati, you'll know we don't share flyers, right? We don't share flyers. That's my decision because you can't see them, right? So you have to set your rules and set your timeline, stay on brand, and I don't know that everyone is trying to establish a media company, but for yourself, you can at least establish a media presence.
I love that, Crystal. And just to build on that, if you are wondering what type of content you should be posting, I think a great resource, if you are with one of the big organizations like Kroger, P&G, Cintas, any one of the companies we have here, your business page, we have corporate affairs departments at each of those companies that are really generating strong content that you can share, that you can customize, that you can relate to your own position. It really is a great way to show company pride. It enables you to help support the efforts of your teammates at your organization, because corporate affairs really wants their LinkedIn pages to be a great representative of what that company stands for. And then when you can help magnify it with your own personal comments, with your own personal connection, it makes it even more meaningful, and it gets shown to your followers so they know that Kroger is a great place to work or P&G is a great place to work. And so it's a great really vehicle for you to find content if you can't think of things to post on your own, and try to come up with a cadence that works for you. Maybe you're going to post something once a week, or maybe you're going to post something, once every 2 weeks. But I think Lisa said, having that regular engagement will make a difference. You're going to get more people looking at your posts, more people connecting to you, and it's going to pay off in the long run.
Now, the digital dust never leaves, and so what are some of the watch-outs that you'd have for folks that are newly going to supercharge their digital presence?
I guess, an example I have recently is I interviewed somebody for an advertising coordinator position, and he was a great fit. He interviewed really well. I was really impressed. And then it took me about 10 seconds to search his social media and find all these tweets that he posted trashing the Reds. So, which again, sports fans I know are very passionate, but, especially somebody in that kind of position where, you're marketing the team makes me a little nervous. So I think in general, you have to remember that your digital footprint is out there. People can find it, even though you might post something today that you're very passionate about, 10 years from now, somebody can find whatever it is, and you don't know where you'll be or what you'll be doing in the future, so you just have to be careful what, kind of things you're putting out there to represent yourself.
And Jill, you talked a lot about what corporate people do. As an entrepreneur, there are a couple of things that I would suggest to you. Number one is you are your business. So you can have a business page and you can have a personal page, but both of them are your business. You don't have, even if you come up with a pseudo name, as a business owner, you have to resolve yourself that you just cannot use social media as your place to vent or to say things that could adversely affect your business. I'm just, putting that out there. The second thing is I encourage you to use your given name or the name that we know you as for your personal page, because many of us can't remember the name of your business with the accent mark and the and or the ampersand, and I can't find it. So I may know who you are, and I'm trying to find your page, but you have a pseudo name on your personal page, and I can't find your business page. I'm searching Cincinnati, it's in Blue Ash. It just becomes an issue. And so I encourage you to realize that as an entrepreneur, you don't have the right to have a page that nobody's going to know who you are, because we are going to know who you are, and you're only going to hurt yourself in the long run for opportunities. Because I'm only going to search for about 2 or 3 minutes. And after that, I'm moving on to whoever's names comes up. So I ask you to think about that. The second thing is, I see a lot of people who have company pages, and unlike corporations, people don't want to hear just about what your company is doing. They want to hear about things that are of interest. So if we have a media company. People don't always just want to hear about what we're doing, but they want to hear about things that are happening in the industry, right? So those things are important. Educate people about the kind of work you do. So as Lisa mentioned, you become an authority on what you do, right? And so that to me is really important. And then the last thing I would tell you, I already told you have to get that comment succinct and spelled correctly and all of that to have some authority. But the other thing I would tell you is you don't have to post all the time. People think they must post 2 or 3 times a day. Guess how many times I posted on my personal page in 2022? 5. I made 5 posts in 2022. And every time I go somewhere, people say, I just love your posts. I follow you, I just love your posts. I post 5 times. That is it. I didn't count, that's not my limit, but I have 5 things to say on social media. Right, on my personal page, and that did it. But every time I post, people know who it is, and it gets enough, engagement that everybody understands and knows what it. You don't have to post every hour or every day, right? Just be that person who posts meaningfully, and your word will get out.
Well said. Jill, take us home.
I love that. I think digital dust is a great way to think about things. And if you haven't already, I don't know about you, but I certainly Google myself on the regular just to see what pops up. You have to see kind of what other people are seeing if they would search your name. And I think that is a great reminder for yourself that you should see what's out there. There are ways to change to some degree. I had a very unflattering screen capture from an interview that I had done, and I had reached out to the firm that produced it. I'm like, is there any way you could just get something where I was not making just the craziest face and use it? And they did. They changed it for me, and I'm like, thank goodness I'm checking these things so people don't see me making a really weird face when they're searching.
It's a great segue, because that's what's going to happen next. But first, would you all indulge me for a photo? And if you don't want to be in the photo, duck, because you're going to be in it. We're going to do a selfie. This is going on my LinkedIn later. And thank you, ladies, so much for sharing your wisdom.
All right.